going to do the pledge of allegiance.
Good morning, everyone. We'll get started with pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking you to watch over this meeting of our county commissioners and ask that you be with all of our county employees as they go about their duties throughout the week. In Jesus' name, amen.
Read the minutes. I make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next week is Labor Day, so we need a motion to reschedule the regular meeting to Tuesday.
Yeah, that's my motion.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Got the bills for the week. Bills, and then here's the payroll sheets to sign off on.
Make a motion, we pass the bills, pay the bills in the amount of $421,469.97. That's my motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I've got several little things we can take care of right off the bat. The sheriff's report, the email this morning.
Sheriff's report is total prisoners 30, 0 farmed out, 69 911 calls, 554 calls for service, civil service papers served 23, new cases opened 18, 9 closed, 8 vehicle crashes, 167 SRO activities, bailiff activities 87, and 9 livestock out.
Has anybody heard how the contract over, or the prisoners coming in are doing? He's already got that contract, doesn't he, Gary?
I'm sorry?
Does he already have prisoners over here from Wyandotte?
I don't think he has these from
Oh, you
Wyandotte
don't?
yet.
Okay, these are, okay.
I think the slight increase you see is just from not having anybody farmed out.
I got
And, I don't think he's got anybody from Wyandotte yet.
Okay.
Not absolutely certain.
Missy just emailed me her numbers. She's had some car issues this morning and can't make it, but I guess this is for the past week. Had 6 COVID tests. They did some COVID boosters. They did 9 TB skin tests, 16 immunizations, 1 family planning, 24 WIC visits. They did some daycare physicals. And then it says they'll be closed from 9 to 12 Wednesday for Amber's grandmother's funeral. Other than that, I've got 2 or 3 other things here. District Court always needs us to sign off on their budget that they have to turn in, I think, to the district. So I adjusted the amount that was shown on here to what was approved for them for the budget for next year at 185.3. And I just need the chair to sign
This sign.
down here on that one.
Need a motion for that?
I don't know that a motion is necessary since you're just acknowledging what you've already approved, so.
I also have, I think Renee is going to be in today for Constitution Week proclamation. I told her we were really packed on our schedule today, so she was wondering if we could go ahead and get it passed and signed before she gets here. I've got 2 copies so that we can keep one and give one to her. So I think we would just need a motion to sign that proclamation recognizing September 17th is the beginning of Constitution Week.
Yeah, that's my motion. Sign the proclamation.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Just here along by our names.
Down there, there's 3 lines
Down there
on the bottom, yeah.
Okay.
and then I'll attest it and put the seal on it. And
Just in the top line, you think, or do you need to be in?
I'll sign over on the left side, so there's just 3 there for you guys to sign. One other thing just to bring up, we had, apparently Jayhawk School District is out looking on ads for sponsorship for their annual. And we had one student come by the other day wondering if the county would be interested in being a sponsor on it. It's a $45 fee. Didn't know if you guys wanted to do anything or like that or not, but I said I would bring it up today, so.
What do you guys think?
Danny?
You'll need to be prepared to do that for all the high schools,
We
grade
start that, there'll
schools.
be everybody wanting to come in and wanting sponsorship, I believe.
I would expect that to happen if we do, and I just, like I said, I just told them I would bring it up, but I didn't know how you guys would take that.
Kind of where I'm at. I think if we do it for one, it's going to be a.
I don't think we need to start that myself.
All right. I also have the resolution for the adoption of the comprehensive plan, if you want to get into that yet.
That's fine.
Be resolution 2022-27, and this will be something Gary prepared, I think, probably.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a copy if you'd like to take a look at that and see.
Here's what it looks like.
We need it signed.
Yeah, he's got one.
He's got the one we want to sign?
Yeah.
And this is just from furthermore the conversation we had last week about.
Right, you've already acknowledged that you want to approve the plan. This is just a resolution that officially does that.
You got the resolution number on it?
2022-27.
Yeah.
You want it?
You guys are good with this, I guess. I make a motion, we accept the resolution number 2022-27 as written.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I believe that's all I've got for now, anyway.
Thought you were going to read it all.
No.
Like I say, I think Renee's planning on coming in around 10, but I told her we had a really busy schedule, so we wouldn't have.
You got anything right now, Gary? or-
Nothing that can't wait.
Okay. AMR?
You got to sign it? Did you sign it?
I signed it, I think, didn't I?
I don't know.
Good morning, Galen Anderson with AMR. I have last month's monthly report, and while I was preparing that, I realized I hadn't done the previous monthly report. So I have the months of June and July. As far as where we're at right now in this month, we're at 71 transports completed as of yesterday, and in the past 7 days, we've done 21 transports. So it's the busy trend from July has continued. Last week, I reported that we had all our positions filled. And then after that, we got a background check completed on one of the candidates that prohibited us from hiring him. So we're back to having one full-time open position, but that's a lot better than 3. And the 2 that we've hired have completed their in-class academy portion of orientation, and they'll be doing their third rider field orientations presently. So they'll be filling the shifts in a probably matter of a couple weeks. So I'll hand out June's report and review that, and I'll hand out July's report and review that. So for Linn County, I'll go over the responses and transports for each city to start with. In Blue Mound, we had one 1 call and 1 transport, and this is June. Centerville, we had 2 requests and 1 transport. 1 request that fell under Greeley, but no transports. 23 requests out of Lacine with 14 transports. 11 requests out of Linn Valley with 8 transports. 11 requests out of Mound City with 7 transports. 31 requests out of Pleasanton with 19 transports. 3 requests out of Prescott with 3 transports. For a total for the month of June of 83 requests and 53 transports. And then broken down by district for response times. District 1 had an average 10-minute response, 10-minute, 2-second response time. And that was for 32 requests. District 2 had an average response time of 7 minutes, 42 seconds for 34 requests. And then District 3 had 14 requests with average response time of 15 minutes, 36 seconds. All told for the county, the average response time for the ambulance was 10 minutes, 3 seconds. We're scheduled to have 1,440 unit hours in service. We had 1,439, so we're staffed at 99.9% of plan. And for the month, we flew out 4 patients by helicopter. 2 were for heart attacks. 1 was post-cardiac arrest. And then 1 was for a poisoning/overdose. So that's the data for the month of June. Any questions on that before I hand out July's report?
I don't have any.
All right, same data for the month of July. It was quite a bit busier. Blue Mound had 9 requests and 3 transports. Centerville had 1 request and 1 transport. 1 request fell under Hume, but no transport. 30 requests out of Lacine with 19 transports. 9 requests out of Linn Valley with 9 transports. 32 requests out of Mound City with 23 transports. 7 requests out of Parker with 4 transports. 34 requests out of Pleasanton with 26 transports. 7 requests out of Prescott with 3 transports. And that totals up to 103 requests for ambulance service and 88 transports. It was quite a busy month in July. The average response time for District 1 was 10 minutes, 32 seconds. And that was for 43 requests. The average response time for District 2 was 9 minutes and 48 seconds, and that was for 45 requests. And the average response time for District 3 was 17 minutes and 25 seconds, and that was for 41 requests. Just to reiterate, the way we calculate average response times for District 3, the paramedic supervisor who's on a quick response vehicle is dispatched to the call, and simultaneously one of the ambulances from Pleasanton or Lacine is also dispatched in case the patient needs transported, and they both are assigned response times. And so because of that, there's usually one quite shorter and one quite longer. So the average is always a little bit longer for District 3. But the time that the patient is actually getting care provided by a paramedic is much shorter than that. Any requests for that data? Oh, sorry. We were scheduled to have 1,488 unit hours in service. And because of our commitment to staffing the county fair and rodeo, we had 1,536 unit hours in service. So we were staffed 103% of plan. And being a busy month for ground transport is also a busy month for helicopter flights. There was 3 patients flown out for motor vehicle collisions, 2 patients flown out for heart attacks, 3 patients flown out for suspected strokes, for a total of 8 flights for the month of July. Any questions on that data?
I don't know.
Nope.
All right, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Oh, we did get in touch with Dr. Allen, who's the point person for
Stars.
the training program. Yep, for the high school, and so we're working towards a partnership with them, so the EMTs, when they're in
Good.
the program, can come right along on the ambulance here in the county. So,
So that'll be through the deal at Pleasanton or the?
yeah, through Pleasanton High School.
Okay.
Yeah, and the EMT part of that program starts in the spring semester, so it'll be after.
How long will that be? How long? Is it
It'll be a 1 semester
a
course.
semester course?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And there's not a requirement for like so many ride-alongs to be able to get EMT certified, but it's invaluable experience. So it'll be up to them how much they want to have encourage their EMTs to ride along to get that field experience. But I think it'll be a good partnership.
Good.
Yeah. Thanks for giving
Thank
me
you,
a heads
Galen.
up about that. Have a good week.
You too. Randy?
Good morning, Commissioners. So I handed out, first thing I'll go over is you'd asked for the Board of Trustees list. I gave that paper to you. It has the names of the Board of Trustees for the Fire Board. On our,
Do you have their expiration, the years where,
there is nothing I can find. I can't even, some of them been on for quite a few years, but
Okay.
there's nothing I can find in minutes or anything like that that shows when they're appointed. Supposed to be 3-year terms, but it looks like you guys are just reapproving them every 3 years. But like I said, some of them been on quite a while.
Yeah.
The runs for the last week, we had 13 runs, 4 grass fires, 3 canceled en route. Mobile property, it was a tractor fire, brush fire, 1 medical assist, 1 motor vehicle accident with injuries, 1 motor vehicle accident with no injuries, and 1 animal rescue. Brings our total for the year up to 360. This past weekend, we had training in Parker. We had a house down there that we were able to put smoke machines in, do some training. Had a pretty good turnout, had 30 firefighters down there, which is about 50% what we have on staff. We had 6 of the 7 stations down there. We had 1 station that did not send anybody down to that training. Went real well. Went through some housekeeping stuff, some different things that some guys I had not met, kind of went over through some things that the chief would like to see out of them that hadn't been done prior. So real good training. We have that property. We're going to do some more training down there. Good training. On the fire side, that's about it, unless you guys have any questions on the fire side.
I don't have.
I don't either, Randy, thank you.
Okay.
Hey, I guess I do a little one. Stopped over at the health department on Friday. How much stuff do you have over there that you store?
At the health department, there's a couple of shelves full of stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, Missy had asked me about it. A lot of it's getting outdated. So they don't want to use it. And the stuff that is not dated, they can keep longer, but
Yeah.
if we needed to get out of there, we can.
You don't. I didn't know if you normally put stuff over there or.
That was the practice prior to me.
Okay.
A
What's
lot
your
of it was
intentions?
a lot of it was COVID, hand sanitizer,
Right.
masks, gloves, stuff like that. I told her if she can get it rather than use it, get it used up,
Yeah.
because a lot of that stuff, like I said, is dated and it needs to get out of
Yeah,
there.
there's 2 or 3 pallets of stuff over there.
Yeah. But yeah, she called me one day. I went over and met with her, and we kind of went through the shelving back there and seen what was there and what.
So they got like a pallet of wipes, sanitized wipes that, for whatever reason, they're alcohol wipes, right?
Yeah.
They've got a date, they're outdated, so they can't use them. So needs try to find somebody some good use to them.
Yeah. And
Maybe some of these senior centers or somebody like that can use them.
And there's some that have hydrogen peroxide on instead of alcohol,
Oh.
and they're going outdated too. So,
Okay.
yeah, she was going to work with the schools, even trying to get some of that pushed out to the schools, get
Yeah.
it used before it goes out of date.
So if anybody knows an organization, maybe see Randy or Missy at the health department.
On the emergency preparedness side, we've been working, Linda and I have with the county departments on their COOP plans. The COOP plans, basically, if something happens to the courthouse or any department, how are they going to continue with service? Say the courthouse catches on fire. What is each department going to do to build? Are they going to come over here and work? And so it's something that's required by the state, but we're going through those right now. We got some of them done, but we're going to be reaching out to those departments that have not done it to get that done. And then we got the hazard mitigation plans up to date. The state was requiring that. They were behind. So we got those all up to date and sent into the state. September 22nd through the 26th is the KEMA conference in Mulvane. Linda and I would like to attend that. It's something that previous fire chief had always went to, emergency preparedness director had always went to. So just kind of asking for permission for that conference for Linda and I. So for that week.
I don't have a problem.
That is all I have for now. I'm still working with David on getting a resolution to get rid of some of that, dispose of that old gear and equipment.
Where we at on rosters and who's on emergency management and
As far as, so Linda and I's on emergency management, and then I'm half and half emergency
no,
management.
I got that. But I mean,
So-
so we have a major event here that you're required to. Are you still working with the cities and
Yes.
everything?
We're still going through that, and that was part of that hazard mitigation plan
Okay.
that I was talking about a little bit ago. Is each city's required the rural water districts, and so we're kind of reaching out to all of them and getting, some of them have changed contacts, so we're updating all the contacts in our system.
There you go.
And getting this plan, and so if something does
I
happen,
think we had one commissioner at one time. I know Mike sat on it for a long time. I don't know if we need one on there or not.
well, you're talking about probably the LAPC.
Yeah.
Okay,
that too.
that, we basically scrubbed it and starting fresh.
Okay.
There was a lot of turnover, and basically the board chair of that wasn't getting the meeting scheduled. That's another thing the state kind of come down on us on recently is, hey, you guys hadn't been submitting your minutes, and that hadn't been being taken care of. So
Who's on that board?
that we're still going through. So like health department, there's one.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Sorry, my
That's what we're trying to sort through. There's representatives from every city, Linn Valley, stuff like that. And we're trying to go through, update those contacts and reschedule a meeting. So
and I do believe one of the commissioners sat on that. I don't know if we were.
I think
required.
so. I
I
can't,
know Mike sat on it for years.
yeah,
So probably one of you two need to be part of that. And that's in the event of a major catastrophe here
right.
in Linn County.
Yep. That's the list we're going over and seeing who we need to reach back out to and get this meeting set up probably towards the end of September or first part of October. We're required to meet quarterly. So
And it involves a lot of detail to it, right?
Yeah.
Right? And is our van that, or our trailer that we used to use, is it still available? Is it
are
in
you
one?
talking about the command center?
Yeah. Is
Yeah,
it,
they actually
works?
used it during the fair.
Okay.
So, we usually keep it at Station 900. Kevin got it for the fair, set it up, used it during the fair. I believe it's here in Mound City somewhere.
Okay.
We'll deploy it back out during the Crafts Fair also. So, yep, it's up and going. So.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
I don't
All right.
know.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Randy. Jessica?
Good morning. Jessica Hightower, Economic Development. Thank you for approving the comprehensive plan. I was excited to hear about that. So today I need to talk about the Rural Champion grant that we talked about last week. Part of the grant is, the grant is for hiring a part-time person to kind of oversee a project. We chose housing. So I need permission to advertise for that position. We we'll get more points on our application if we have someone picked before we submit the application. So I would like to advertise the position, go ahead and do interviews and try to get someone picked for that spot before I submit the application, with the understanding that the position is only available if we get grant funds.
Explain exactly what the position is. I mean, it's-
Okay, so I'm calling it the Housing Champion, Linn County Housing Champion, because it's the Rural Champions Grant. So this person will work with the cities to see what their needs are as far as removing or rehabbing dilapidated houses and what they would like to see as far as building new ones. Work with state officials to try and bring resources into the county to either rehab or build new homes, and try to get developers interested in coming into the county.
is it going to be a full-time or
It'll be 20 hours a week
20 hours?
for a year. And the Office of Rural Prosperity reimburses, it's actually just a little over 20,000. And we have to, our match is 25%.
So you have a salary range and all that you're thinking?
I'm sorry?
You have a salary range?
Well, the 20,000 that they reimburse us is for salary.
Right.
That's what we can use
And
it
so
for,
if
yeah.
that's 60%, or if that's 80, what's our match?
What's the percentage?
25% is our match.
That's
So we can,
75%.
we
so-
can either use that, just do the portion that they will reimburse us for salary and do the 25%. Like they said, any taxes that we pay for that person will be, like employment taxes will count as match, office space, computer, or we could contribute to the salary. We're going to get higher points on our application if we contribute more towards salary on top of the computer and the office space. So that's kind of up to you guys, I guess. What would you like to do?
Well, I don't think you're gonna get anybody if you put 20,000 as it. So if you're gonna put 20, and I know you can match it to whatever, right? You can match the salary
You
to
can
whatever.
pay whatever you wanted to pay. I mean,
If you're 20 hours a week,
I was going to figure out here if you,
1,000 hours a year.
1,080 or 1,040 a year.
1,040.
So if you had $20,000 divided by 1,040.
1923. What I would figure out per hour.
yep,
The taxes, our portion will be the taxes on top of it, is it?
yeah.
Danny, you got anything?
You
So
can,
what's it gonna cost us to have this person? I mean, what's it, the county itself?
it would cost us, let's say they're giving 20,000, right?
Yeah, it's like 20,800.
Okay. So let's say you said that's the salary. That's a little under $20 an hour, which isn't bad for around here. And so your cost then would be another, what's 20,
It's
another
5,000.
5,000 to pay for the, benefits, or there wouldn't be real benefits, but pay for any, social security tax,
Unemployment. work
Unemployment
comp, those that we have to pay for.
So we should, if we're going to approve that, just a certain amount of, over that 20,000, like 5,000 over it?
5,000 will be the minimum.
Yeah.
So what happens that, it's only for a year, so what if there's a project? I mean, it's gonna take a long time to get going. If there's a project going on in the middle of that year, do we terminate that person and
Well, that would be something that we could determine at that time. We could determine, I mean, if they have brought in enough to pay for their own salary, we could extend that. If we don't feel we want to continue that position, then it would be over.
Or there may be another grant available.
This is the pilot program. They've never done this before. So the hope is that if it goes well the first year, that they will continue. So we
And if you have a
could,
good project,
reapply.
it might be really good for the county anyway to even consider keeping them on for,
right?
if you can get some
Yeah.
additional funding, if nothing else. I think it's worthwhile because we haven't done much in the way of venturing out like that.
Right.
See, housing is obviously the biggest concern in Linn County because It happens in every town.
Right.
The house starts to dilapidate and they've rented it out as long as they can. The landowner next to him buys it, tears it down, and it becomes a lot. You go all over Pleasanton, Lacey, Mound City, you see that. And then all you have is a bunch of houses with humongous yards.
Right. And it's really good timing because with the comprehensive plan getting approved, I can pull that goal, because there's a goal in there for improving housing in the county. I can pull that out and use that in my application, that the comprehensive plan backs up the application.
So you'd want to decide, are you going to commit 5,000, which is the minimum, or are you going to commit more than 5,000 to get a higher place on the grant approval?
Or not do it at all.
Or not do it at all, that's true.
I think we should do it personally.
I would like to see us try.
I think it's a good,
What would the taxes be on the 20,000 for the part-time employee?
Well, just the FICA tax would be 1,530. Work comp would probably be pretty low because that'd be more of an office type job, I think.
There would be some traveling.
You're probably just looking at a couple thousand benefits because they wouldn't qualify for most of our.
And then you'd be looking at in-kind stuff for the rest of the 5,000. It wouldn't all be cash. You'd be looking at office space, you'd be looking at telephone, that sort of thing.
This person will be reporting to you.
Me and Sean, yes.
I'm good with it. You guys are.
So up to the 5,000, and
That'd be the
that's
minimum.
what we have to use the 5,000.
So we can go over that if you want to add some to the salary. I know,
fairly well
I know,
done, girl.
but like I said, if we add some to the salary portion of that, then our points.
Don't you
on
think
our application-
$19 an hour will attract someone?
I would hope so.
Okay. You need a motion for that, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Danny.
What you just put in the newspaper, you said? Explain that again.
Yeah, she's wanting permission to advertise for the position on the condition that the position will only arise if we get the grant.
That's my motion. Like Gary said.
I'll second it. Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye. There you go.
I also need an executive session for trade secrets. I think
You're on the schedule.
maybe 20 minutes, and then we can extend if we need to.
Gotcha.
Do you have any questions for me?
I do.
Thank you.
We go ahead and let Renee go now, or you want to come ahead, Renee, and get you,
That's handouts.
okay?
We already got you approved, Renee.
Got it
We
signed
did.
and everything.
This is something new, and I thought it would be interesting just to read what everything means in the preamble of the Constitution.
This according to Biden.
To our founding fathers. Which to me is more important.
A little humor here this morning.
I don't know, there might be another one there, I'm not sure. And give everyone, I can give you one. There you go.
I got one. Hang on. Yep.
Okay. Did you have an extra, anyone have an extra one of these cards? Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't get you one.
That's all right.
Gary studied this. He probably wrote it.
I probably wrote it.
And on
Got
the
it.
card, in the bookmark, it's the preamble, and then the sheet attached to it is what every word in the preamble means. And, anyway, it's pretty.
Well, just step up here real quick because we're going to run you off, but
Okay.
tell us
And
what
also-
DAR does. Every year you do this all across the county, so go ahead.
Yes, I do. And in August, we usually do the proclamation signings by the mayors, commissioners, And in September, we do the presentations to the schools. When you sign your proclamation, I get one copy, you get one copy, and you post it on in a commons area. David, I think last year had it in the hallway of the courthouse. And I usually put also Constitution pamphlets there. We also display in the libraries. We put displays there. And anywhere that we can promote awareness of our Constitution. And we've been doing this I've been doing this since 2013.
Yeah.
Yes, something like that. And I love doing it. I love
Go to
presenting
schools
it.
too, right?
Oh, yes, fifth grade in Miami and Linn County, fifth graders. I've done Leavenworth schools. I've done Wellsville. So I get anyone that wants me to come and present, I come and present. But many of the chapters, we have so many chapters in Kansas, and all of them do this. And but we have a big thing this year, and it's called Ring Across America. And that is all the churches. I also send letters to the churches to ring their church bells. Any government buildings also can ring their church bells. So, and it's on September 17th, the ringing at 3:00 p.m. So it would be this September would be Saturday at 3:00 p.m. Any church bells that you know of to ring, and that could be family too. If you got a big cowbell in your house and you want to ring it and have your whole family participate, that's fine. But that's to recognize and commemorate our Constitution.
Now, Renee, we got your signed copy right there.
Okay.
You need a picture?
Yes, we need pictures.
Get up there.
Let me get my phone. Can I get my phone?
Boss.
Oh, I love it.
Picture that I have taken, I make a report at the end of the year and send it to our state DAR.
Where do you want it at here?
You want to stand?
Whatever you want.
It's laying right over there. Isn't it? He's going to look, he's looking for the proclamation.
Okay.
Just you?
Here's a fake proclamation. I'll take my fake proclamation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, have a good day. Thank you very much.
Sean?
Morning. Sean West, Public Works Administrator. Been in communication with Wildlife and Parks and got the new contact information for the project manager for the Zener Road Bridge, and should be able to give you updates on it very shortly. The Botkin Road Bridge project is nearly complete. As you can see, it's been graded. The straw and the seed has been planted. I've just got to work with the engineers to make sure that we finish up the project, and then we get an initial bridge inspection after the new number has been assigned to that bridge. David and I talked about the reimbursement part of that project, and I did learn through this process that the engineer will be submitting the documents for reimbursement on our behalf, which will be a great relief since I have never done those. Road and Bridge, I'm working with Jeremy on his truck. We got the initial estimate on the repair. The whole upper half of the motor needs replaced.
I did not see a lot of reason to replace the upper half and put it on a lower half that's got, I believe, 183,000 on the motor. So we're getting prices not only to replace the upper half, but for him to replace the whole motor and do the labor, also what a chassis would cost us, so I can bring in options, because I didn't like the numbers for just the one solution that would leave us with a truck we'd probably be throwing money in again next year.
And what truck was this?
This is the maintenance truck from the south shop, the mechanic's truck.
Oh,
The hay was baled out at the airport and at some of our other locations. Everything's going fine with that project. Although the folks that won the bid on the hay on the airport, the gentleman that they had mowing and baling that hay called us out and identified to us that we'd forgot a couple areas on our bid and marked it. And he showed us for next year what they had done in the past, and helped us identify those and agreed to go ahead and knock it down for us. So we got it mowed this year, but we'll get it added to our acreage next year, and was of assistance to us on what they had done in the past. And it turned out just fine. So it should be an improvement for next year's program. Noxious weeds. Johnson grass spraying is coming to an end. They're getting close to the end of their chemicals for that, and the mowers are now.
What's that mean? They're just gonna stop?
No, the spraying is, the season and their spraying is coming to an end, and the mowing, because they're late in the season, the mowers are going out to the fences. So they're wanting and have started to transition to bridges and guardrail cleanup, weed eating, cutting brushes, limbs, small trees, and spraying the bare ground and the chemicals to stop the growth and try to prevent next year's spraying from having to be a larger project. They're trying to beat it down each season so that we get it back under control where it should be, to where it can be maintenance properly, from the lack of maintenance that we've had in the past. They gave a list of bridges that they've already done, which appears to be about 8 bridges and guardrails that they've done already this year. Maintenance, we've had Rick out all week. He'll be coming back this week from a vacation and getting back to hanging things and other projects, mainly at the Justice Center, but there's a few other projects going on as well. Our Cdl training, we expect to be testing our first driver through the new program here shortly. I should be able to finish that up in the next week or two and have him onto the permit side and the behind the wheel portion of that test to go ahead towards the second half of that testing process, which is actually taking a driving test and doing the walk around on the truck. Did you need me for anything on the contract stuff that we'd spoke about, or do we need executive session for that?
Remind me which contract we're talking about. I've had talked about several today.
Oh, well, employee,
You mean Jessica's?
yes.
contract?
Did you need me for anything on that later?
No, it's in my pile of stuff to go through with them. So
Okay, then the last thing I have for you is Joyce had come to me, apparently every 3 years as a requirement for a transportation grant. The commission has to approve in their meeting minutes, approve that they've reviewed and agree to Title VI plan in order for us to be in compliance. And this is what you've approved in the past, and it has not changed.
explain what this is.
Have you read through it?
This is the federal compliance
All the
with
rules and
all the rules,
with
the non-discriminatory participation, without any limitations on people based on any disabilities, gender, color. It is the federal guidelines that we will not discriminate in our program. And this is something that, like I said, every 3 years we approve just to stay in compliance with that transportation grant and program.
Okay. What do we have to make a?
You just have to make a motion to adopt or renew your adoption of that anti-discrimination,
Title VI.
Title VI.
I need to sign it here.
That's my motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Do I sign it?
Yes, you'll give a signature and then we'll get it from David in the meeting minutes and turn it in. That is everything I have for you this morning. Do you have anything for me?
Yeah, I ever who mowed the, along, Linn Valley there by the, city hall all the way down to the gate there. And just good compliments from people, and then one from, the people's telephone as well, that they had set out like 35 flags that they're getting ready to identify their cable. And at the mower actually went around all of them and mowed and didn't knock them all down like sometimes it happens. So very good attaboy from Peoples and from someone up in Linn Valley as well. So
Good.
pass that on to Mike and them.
I will.
Hear
And
about some ditching this week that was done. The landowner was really pleased with. You guys went back and fixed the crossing back in the opening, I guess. There wasn't really a ditch there when it started. Dug a ditch out and some way to get in his field. I heard about it, so.
I do know that we had a seasonal mower finish up his time in the south shop and is now going to the north shop to help Mike finish up in that area. So we should get even more done before the end of the season up there.
Good.
And on your comment, even one of the gentlemen, I made contact with all three about the oil in the roadway issues that we had. And that conversation took about 5 minutes and he spent 15 bragging on the maintenance operator in that area and all the ditch work that we've had around the Blue Mound area. So it was a more than positive conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Darren, you have anything?
I've got a zoning change, Darren with planning and zoning. I got a zoning change and a conditional use permit. The zoning change is for Regina Gross, located east of Giroux Road and commonly addressed as 8476 West 1800 Road, Parker, Kansas. Application has been approved for a lot split of 5 acres to sale or lease under current zoning agricultural. The parcel is below minimum 10 acre size and requires a rezoning as agricultural residential. Staff recommendation and finding. The proposed zoning change conforms to the character of the neighborhood by providing the combined usage. Neighboring agricultural zone properties are of large size. Property is suitable for permitted use of the proposed agricultural residential zoning and will not negatively affect nearby properties. The proposal rezoning of the land creates no change or effect of surrounding properties and not create any additional infrastructure needs. The proposed The proposed change conforms to the comprehensive plan by allowing more land to be kept in a large agricultural parcel and not changed to a residential designation. The standards that should apply is listed in Article 16.05 with proper findings as required in Golden versus the City of Overland Park and located upon page 88 and 89 of your book. Staff recommends approval of this application.
Okay. I don't have any problems with it.
I don't have.
So if you decide that you want to accept their recommendation to approve this zoning change, you'd want a motion to adopt the board's findings and to approve the zoning
What
change.
was the board's vote?
6-0.
6-0.
That's my motion.
I'll second it. Been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Conditional use permit is for a tower in the industrial park in Lacine located at 305 South Industrial Boulevard, Lacine. It's for a 75 by 75 foot compound located in the southeast corner of 37 and a half acres. The staff findings, the use does conform with the character of the neighborhood, as most nearby properties are agricultural, residential, and industrial. The zoning of nearby properties is agricultural and ag residential, and heavy industrial. Portion of the property is in a flood zone located for proposed use as provided by applicant. Places proposed use in that zone. With meeting applicable floodplain requirements, location property is suitable for proposed use. I contacted the state and they said that if it's built in a flood zone, as long as there's no fill dirt brought in and the ground is not disturbed, that they can build on top of what is there. Mr. Irwin brought another proposal of moving it to a different location so that it meets the 1-to-1 ratio for setbacks on the property, because it did not meet the setbacks to begin with. So he proposed that it be moved, and which took it out of the floodplain. So with the first proposal, the staff did not recommend approval of the conditional use permit. With moving it, the findings of the staff was that the approval would be okay. Findings, proper findings as regarding Golden versus the City of Overland Park. It was a 3-3 vote at the planning and zoning meeting, and so therefore we had to bring it in front of the commission.
So a 3-3 vote, it comes as a denial to you, a recommendation of denial, and you've got three options. You can accept that recommendation, you can overturn that recommendation, or you can send it back to the Planning and Zoning Committee with directions.
And the state statute says we have no obligation, or we have no authority to. Is that correct?
Well, the state statute says that you can't reject a cell tower based upon the business model, or in other words, you can't say there's no need for that, and therefore you can't have the conditional use permit. You can't deny it based on that. We don't know why they denied it, because they didn't make any findings.
No findings.
And so my recommendation is going to be, if you want to know, I don't want to shortchange any conversation, but my recommendation is going to be that you send it back to the Planning and Zoning Board to make findings and to reconsider it, to take another vote with specific findings. One interesting point is that there's a 9-member board and only 6 members were present. And you have a history as a board of liking to see a strong vote one way or another on these kinds of things. And so
I know, but if it goes back and it's denied and comes back again, all we've done is drag it out.
but then we've got findings that
We didn't have findings in these, so
Those are different. Yeah, there were findings. He made findings and you adopted them. On the zoning change?
yeah,
Yeah, he read the findings and you
Right.
adopted them in your motion.
but no negative findings.
No, there were
So
not.
If it goes back and it's voted down again with no negative findings,
But that's the time you really need findings is.
I know. In other words, I'm saying, are we just wasting and dragging this thing out by sending it back? You don't think so?
No,
Okay.
I think that you need to follow the requirements of the law. And the law says you got to make findings.
And you guys are here for our comments?
This is Mr. Ewing with the cell tower company. Do you want to hear from him?
Yeah, I do. I want to hear it. Come on up here.
Now, let me ask you a question, including you. You'd said that they might be submitting a different application. Is that still in the offing or?
So he requested a third place, which I didn't present because
Because it's not a part of this process.
it's not a part of
It would be a new application,
Right.
basically.
which sets it further out in the field. And there's a place in that field that the farmer does not use. So the farmer or the landowner wouldn't even lose crop area if it was moved to there.
Okay.
Go ahead, sir.
So
Good morning. My name is Patrick Irwin. I'm the applicant here before you today. And Commissioner James, you're exactly right. This has been drawn out. We've actually appeared in front of the Planning and Zoning Commission 3 different times
The same thing?
for the same thing. And every time we come back, we provide more information. So we would absolutely encourage you to take a vote to approve our application as it stands, but I'm happy to answer any questions you guys might have.
What was the 3 times 4? Did you not get to talk? Was there not enough for a?
No. The first time, the commission wanted additional information regarding the engineering of it. We supplied that. The second time, they wanted us to go back and at the second hearing, we were told to come to show a different layout where we do meet all the setbacks. We did that. That is the application that's in front of you today for your approval. We do meet all the setbacks. We do meet all of the county's requirements. We do have staff's recommendation for approval.
What was the length of time over that period? So are you talking a month, 2 months, 3 months?
3 months, because it's, the commission meets every 30 days. So yeah, 3 months. We're well within the statutory timelines.
Sure.
It can certainly go back and we'd love to get a ruling from you guys on this today. Yeah. I live in Overland Park. It's not that difficult for me to jump down here, but yeah.
All right.
As I said, you can overturn their recommendation by 2/3 vote, which is what any vote would be for you guys, at least. You would need to make some findings as to why you're overturning their.
Well, you want it to go back or
We
you?
had no findings though, so would it have to go back to him?
Well, that's an option. I mean, if you wanted to overturn it, if you wanted to say, we're going to approve this, then you would need to make some specific findings as to why you're doing that. And whether those findings are that because the staff recommended it, because it meets all the setbacks, because it provides makes no burden on the infrastructure. I mean, there are, we'd have to run you through the golden factors, as they're called, and see if you can make findings in regard to those that would allow you to justify overturning it.
I just hate to see if it's a state statute that says we basically have no obligation to, unless you have findings. And the individual company has waited this will be like 120 days before it's all done.
Yeah.
Right or wrong. I hate to see somebody wait just because.
Well, but the reason I'm insistent we got to have findings one way or the other, whether we deny it or whether we approve it, we need findings, is because that's what protects us in terms of any appeal from anyone.
I'd make a motion that we send it back to the planning and zoning and they adopt findings and bring it back to us.
I'll second. I think if you give us some findings and give us something to work with, I mean, we go by what you guys tell us all the time, and I think we've got, in order to say no, I think I want some findings myself. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
I do have a question. With, next planning and zoning is September 13th. I don't have to wait the 14 days. I can bring
There's
it
no
that
required,
following
at this
month.
point, there's no required notice period. You just put it on the agenda for the next.
And I can bring it the following
And then you
Monday.
can bring it right back to the commission the following Monday.
Okay.
It needs to be a written notice to planning and zoning, and so I have drafted one here in case the commissioners decide you need to give that. I didn't have the CUP number, but. Too many papers.
I know. This is one of the.
I had a copy and had him sign one.
Oh, okay.
Got it.
Okay.
The resolution on that zoning.
May need to sign this, Gary.
I don't know that it's necessary that it be so. Yeah, have the chairman sign it, so he's on the line.
Cost extra.
I've got that and I'll scan it in.
Anything else for me?
So when are you doing this?
September 13th.
That's your next meeting.
That's the next meeting.
But you don't have to wait till then, right?
Well, that's their next regular meeting. The only way to have a special meeting would be to give notice, and that's 2 weeks.
Can you get all 9 of your people there this time? I know you can't. All right.
Got a new one on there now, don't
Yeah.
you?
You'll probably be the one that show. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What do we have?
That's it.
Public comment?
Did you have a public comment, sir?
No, I just had an application for, reduction in dumpster fees on 10
Yeah, I've got that right here, if you want to hear that. Okay. The applicant, the owner of the property is Ronald and Denise Zimmerman. Are you Mr. Zimmerman? Okay. Property is 218 Chestnut here in Mound City. They are doing demolition on that property and are seeking a reduction of dump fees. I keep calling him Dennis. Darren
Right.
has verified the application. We have a letter from the city of Mound City in support. And so I don't know if you want to see pictures of it. It's a property that clearly needs demoed.
Okay.
And so if you are prepared to grant that reduction of fees, you just need a motion to do so.
I don't have an issue with it.
That's my motion.
Second.
Reduction fees. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
How much of a reduction is that? You know what I mean?
I believe it.
$2. $2.
I believe they reduce it to zero fees.
It don't need to be like $40 a ton.
Yeah.
Good.
Help a lot on the jar, not 15 ton. Appreciate it. Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you.
Now what? Just,
Jessica's needing
I got 2 or 3 other little things if you want to do them.
Okay,
Or
go
we
ahead.
can do that
go ahead
first.
now and we'll get you.
Here is a list of the committees, the advisory boards and committees that we could come up with. I met with Jessica and Sean. Just some information about it. We're still working on how to,
Give one to David in case you don't have one.
on how we might do the kind of change you were discussing. Some of them have bylaws, some of them don't. Some of them have set terms, some of them don't. I also have a question in my mind as to whether, if you get this housing grant, if you would want some kind of a advisory board for that program. There's nothing that says you have to, I don't think, but I just toss that out too.
Okay.
So I just want, anyway, they are continuing to work on this, and they're going to come back to me with some additional information, but this is where we are right now.
Now, the bylaws, will we set them up the same on each one? Or
No, they're not. And so that might be something that we want to do is
set
to,
all the bylaws up
is
the
to
same?
make them more uniform
And then stagger the terms like.
and get the terms all staggered the same way and so forth. It's something to consider at least. And then, of course, the question of term limits is what you raised last week.
Right.
I mean, on the one hand, people argue that the fact that you've got a specific term is in itself a term limit because you can always not reappoint them.
Yeah, but that's the problem. It always
Yeah.
gets reappointed because nobody goes
Somebody
out.
wants it, it's just,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. It's hard.
It's better for them to know that they're not going to.
Yeah.
I think. You get to your term limit, you do 2 or whatever terms, you know you're off of it. You can come back at a later date, but let's make it somebody else the opportunity.
I think when we get something kind of put together, it'd be very good. It'd be my recommendation that you meet with the staff people that work with these committees and get their input. Because they're the ones that have to keep these committees populated and keep them motivated. And so.
There's another committee we just talked about this morning. It sounded like it was a committee, or was that a board for, when I was talking? Yeah, the LAPC, is that what it's called?
Yeah, LEPC,
Which is kind of a hidden board until something happens, and
Yeah.
it's a nightmare.
It
We don't have it organized, which we
might be
apparently
worth,
don't.
Worth considering whether that should be on this
usually
list.
something my wife was on when you were going to school nurse, they had that. I don't know how long it's been since they met. She hadn't moved there for
Let me
3
jot that down. And there may be others that I haven't
Yeah,
thought of, but.
exactly.
But we met this week and worked on it, so. I have a revised contract for, Jessica Hightower. You accomplished the revisions that you'd asked about. She was on a split contract where she had a 30-hour contract and then a 10-hour contract. To make her full-time, and you had decided a couple of months ago that you wanted to move away from that to a full-time contract. So that's what this contract does. It does not raise her pay. Her pay is the same, $58,344. It has the same details in terms of the various benefits that she would have. She would not be getting sick leave or vacation leave or annual leave because she is to be deemed a exempt employee. She would be eligible for any cost of living pay increases, which is our standard practice with all contract employees. It does say that she would be reporting directly to Sean in terms of the supervision. He would be her supervisor in all matters. Let's see. What else did I want to say about that? It says it is explicitly agreed that Hightower will not be under the direct supervision of the Board of Commissioners. So she is directly under Sean, not under the commissioners, and we've made that clear. And of course, what we're trying to do is, in case there comes an occasion where there might be a potential conflict of interest, we have headed that off. And so I guess I don't know if you brought a copy for them to sign.
I did not. I didn't
Okay.
know if
Well,
we
here's
were
a
at that
copy.
point yet, or-
You want to sign this?
If you're open to this, she's satisfied with it, and so if you're open to going ahead and doing that revision, it would actually be retroactive to July sometime. I can't remember the date, but if you want to go ahead and get that done.
You have any problem?
Oh,
I'll make a motion that we sign this work to hire agreement rearranging Jessica Hightower falling under Sean West as her primary supervisor, and that we allow Jim Johnson to sign it as chairman of the board.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The only other thing I had for out here, I do have a couple, executive session matters, but, the River City contacted me and to discuss retainages. Of course, the purpose of a retainage, just to be clear, is to give us leverage in terms of completing work. Retainage doesn't have anything to do with warranty. That's a whole separate issue. So they recommend that we begin reducing our retainages because we're really down to the point where we've got very little work left to do. And we're overloaded on retainage in that regard. They estimate that there's about $40,000 worth of work left. They're mostly just little things, but about $40,000. They recommend that we retain 2.5 times that in terms of retainage to make sure we get everything done. And so they're recommending that we begin paying down to $100,000 retainage and keep that until we get things completely wrapped up. And they just wanted your approval to do that. I told them that I didn't, that I thought that you would probably understand that it's time to do that, but I don't know if you have any thoughts, comments.
Danny, what you got?
I was just wondering if we're gonna do a complete walkthrough of miscellaneous items and bring it to their attention, 'cause
You got that list, and they didn't send that list to me. They should have probably.
and it was just, and they wanted to know the room numbers. I don't know the room numbers. I don't have time.
Well, if I'd got that list, I probably could have headed that off, so we could have got those.
I know Rick was getting bombarded with stuff that.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things that they're working on. I think the way, Bill's in touch with the folks over here every day. And I think the way to shake that out is rather than us doing a walkthrough or somebody doing a walkthrough, we let those complaints filter in and we hand them to Bill. But we do need to tell him where they are specifically. We need to tell him what room it's in. But if that, I don't know, did that come from the employees in the county attorney's office?
Miscellaneous stuff that need to be redone. I know that Rick was getting just hit up with stuff hardcore. Like there's a door in the back of district courts that doesn't close and little things like that. That's not really his deal. My only concern would be us, giving out, go ahead and release a retainage to individual. I know it would fall on River City because they're their employee or their contractors, but I would just like to see a final walkthrough with a punch list item stuff, and then we can, release some funds to them, and then we come back to a final walkthrough and release everything else. That's
And ultimately, River City's
they're responsible
to make sure that the door is shut and everything.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean,
River City is the ones with this responsibility. That's what, I guess what I'm saying is let's let them handle that. My thought is let them, because they're as motivated as anybody to get that stuff done because they don't get their final pay until we get it done. But I understand what you're saying, Danny, but none of us would be in a position to really know one thing from another in terms of, I mean, you know a little more about the rest of us, but.
how can we get that list to River City?
I guess we need to appoint somebody to.
Well, that's what I'm really supposed to do, but that list never came to me.
The last thing I want is, there's just move-in hiccups. It's going to happen no matter what. Little things.
Well, can we get that list to you from the?
Well, and I've got a copy of it. I couldn't read it all, but if somebody says, here's the problem, then they need to be told, give this to Gary Thompson.
Yeah, can we do that? Can we just send out an email to all departments saying, hey, Gary's our contact, just give him a list of everything, what room?
That's the way it's supposed to work.
Okay, because I know it's kind of just, there's things floating around and letting Sean know or Rick, and then it's just kind of, falling off the map. I just, super irritated.
So, and things that have come up and have come to me, I've been able to reach out to the proper person and get them taken care of.
Need the list so you can get the information.
So I need people to contact me. What I need is what's the problem and where's the problem. And so,
And you want to wait on that, or you want this reduction?
well,
I mean, River City's kind of, I mean, they're kind of giving away
They're giving away-
holding their profits. I mean,
Yeah.
um,
I think we need to go ahead and do this probably. And
yeah, I mean, I'm sure the subs are,
they've got maybe,
What kind of motion do you need?
I just need a motion to approve authorizing them to reduce the retainage to 2.5 times the outstanding work.
That's my motion.
I'll say it.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
I said that was all. I do have one other thing I think probably could be done out here. We got notice from the city of Pleasanton that they wanted to annex the highway over there. The question came up, what's the commission got to say about that? What can the commission do about that, et cetera? So I have looked at the situation. The statute clearly allows them to do this. If they can annex all or a portion of a road that they abut. So they can do it. In fact, if you read the statute, you could almost interpret it as encouraging them to do it. Although I wouldn't quite go that far myself. Since it's specifically allowed by statute, the county has no role in the process. The county doesn't have any control over the annexation. The county, I don't know how each of you feel about it, but even if you were opposed to it, you're out of luck because there's nothing you can do about it. The city does have certain constraints they got to live with. For example, they've got to follow all the proper annexation procedures, which I'm sure they are. They cannot annex a tract of more than 21 acres. And so I don't know how many acres are involved in the highway that they're wanting to annex, but they do have that limitation.
21 at a time, or is it?
21 is the biggest single tract that you can annex at any time. Yeah. They must comply with all regulations concerning water districts and perhaps even fire districts, and there are some regulations in regard to that. The annexation ordinance must include a precise legal description of the tract annex. In my opinion, again, I'm not the judge, but in my opinion, they could not just say Highway 69 from here to here. They've got to have a legal description of that land. And there is such a thing available. They'd have to get it from KDOT probably. So I think, there are some things they have to do, but there's nothing that we as a board of commissioners or the county can do for or against it. We're not involved.
And you're bringing this up because you've gotten some questions?
The question's been raised. Well, the county commission needs to stop them from doing this. And of course, I'm saying the county commission can't stop them from doing it.
City asking us, or is it?
No. Other people
Okay.
have approached me or others associated with the county and said, we don't like this. The county needs to stop it. And I'm saying the county can't stop it. No matter how you feel about it. I don't care if you like it or dislike it. It's out of our control. And so I just want to make that clear. So if anybody asks you, what are you going to do about this? You can say, we can't do anything about it.
so I wish I could do something.
Yeah, well, however you say it's up to you, but.
This is not DEA, they're the police department.
But we don't have, the county doesn't have any control of that.
Okay.
My personal opinion on it is I think it's horrible and I think it's going to keep people from filing to Pleasanton. That's my personal opinion. If you want to write it in the paper. Have it. So people stop calling me about it.
So what else we need? Executive sessions?
I need about 5 minutes max for legal, really. And Jessica said she wanted 20 minutes for trade secrets.
So you need 5 and she needs 20.
Morgan wants to talk about something.
And what's yours, Gary?
Mine's legal.
Legal, okay.
And then Morgan wanted, what did she want?
Are you going to discuss that out here or are you going in there? All right.
Yeah, it can only be executive session if it deals with specific employees.
Come ahead, Morgan. If you're, you want to get that out of the way first?
Sure, that'd be fun.
Yeah,
Sure.
come get it out.
Do we need, so June Jim called, I think, after
What?
having a conversation with him, we think that it would be better if all three of you did evaluations for department heads together. Because one commissioner could have a different opinion than another.
On the
And since there's three-
evaluations, the ones that answer direct to us, I think it'd be better if all three of us
Okay.
evaluate them myself. What do you think? You
What,
good with
what,
that?
what we had talked about possibly, I don't know if, is each of you doing one and then in executive session meeting to discuss them and pool them into a single evaluation.
That, or we can all sit down for however long it takes and work together and just do one. It's whatever you guys want to do, feel more comfortable doing, and how much time you have outside of here.
How long do we have? I mean, we got a month.
October 1st.
We have 5.
You have
You want to set where we do a couple of weeks?
Name the 5, and then we just went to 4, didn't we? Was
that's
Jessica part of it?
after, because she, this whole last year was under you guys, so you guys are gonna have to do it. Next year would be when Sean does it.
Okay.
So name the 5.
So Melissa Lancaster, Sean West, Christopher Martin, Randy Hagwald, and Jessica Hightower.
Yeah.
So it's just when you guys want to do it, how you guys.
So can we just go? Can
Hey.
we go in the back room once a week and talk about?
Do one a week or do them all at once? It's up to you.
Well, if there are 3, if each of us did one on each person, and they're all probably going to be somewhat the same, but you're still going to have to write one anyway, so you might as well just write one.
Together.
Yeah.
And just sit down and talk it over. And how long you think it takes us to go through one?
It'll probably take you 45 minutes to an hour per person.
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, I think it's going to. It depends on how much you, because you're.
We can set up to do 2 next week or something and see where we're at. And does that work?
That's fine. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
If we set up to do 2 next week, then we can see what it is, how long it's going to take us.
Hey, so this is okay. These categories, how you rank people, you know, the 5s but if nobody has a profile, so I've done thousands and thousands of these because in the military, you get them every 3 months. So who's the grading individual may never give a 5. He may only give 4, or he or she may only give 4s or 3s. The person that's getting evaluated feels like they've been slighted. So there needs to be a profile set every year that the average marks that the individual gives, whatever they give, and that's what they give out every year. So the individual, where it says rating key, it could say that right there. It could say the average profile for this individual, Gary, is 3.
So my goal, I'm hoping to, if I have time, is to redo the evaluation process. Because the department, every office has different goals and we may have somebody who's been here for 20 plus years who does that job out of the back of their hand and all they get is 5s. There's always room for improvement. So my goal is to hopefully get a different form and try and, so that people can be more challenged throughout the year, so they're not that 4 or 5 all the time.
Okay, but if that doesn't happen, then you need to consider what I just said. Because if somebody, he's getting in his office, all 5s, and I'm only giving out 3s and 4s because I want room for improvement or what have you. It's just the way people are.
You mean you're just talking about the evaluator stuff that you don't give 5s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people just, the way they think.
So for each evaluator, this would say, this evaluator gives an average of this.
Right. And I don't think that's bad at all, because then you know that for a fact that if you get above a 3, then in certain cases, or above a 4, then you're above his average, or they're her average.
And that helps somebody later who's looking at this see, well, this guy only got 3s. Well, but yeah, but
Do we go back and look at their last year?
Especially for payers.
yeah.
It's compared. And this is the first time we've actually done this.
No, we've done them for years. We didn't do them last year, or they didn't get turned into us last year, at least.
I don't think.
But they have been done.
Where previous years were. And I can bring those to help you guys if you want.
I wouldn't mind seeing what there was before, would you?
No, that's fine. If you can find them for those 5.
Next week.
Just setting up an hour or whatever and see where we're at. Okay.
Okay.
You want these back or?
Yeah.
You gonna sit there and type it all up for us? You're the best.
I mean, I'll be there, but we'll see.
I think that's a yes.
I make a motion that we go into executive session for 25 minutes total, 20 minutes with Jessica with trade secrets and 5 minutes with Gary for legal.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Danny go to the restroom. We don't have anything else, do we? No action from the executive session. I make a motion. You guys,
What's that board you sit on for, down there for the, it involves the, dump down at Prescott, the landfill?
The tribe, the Lake Region.
Lake Region,
Our,
But that's just
Solid
one
waste
person, right?
That's just one person who participates in the regional board.
Okay, all right,
We've got several regional boards.
right.
That's different.
I know, I got you.
you have anything, Danny?
Nope.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
aye.
don't forget, it'll be Tuesday next week.
Don't show up Monday.
Well, if you do, you'll be by yourself. So.
We'll call you.
You know where you live?
I'll be back home.
You know where you live?